How's it going, XRP community? How y'all doing out there today? Hope you're having a fantastic one. Today, I have an article that comes straight from our favorite source over on Twitter, XRP Crypto Wolf, and he has linked me to an article here over on news.bitcoin.com talking about Thailand approving 4 new cryptocurrency service providers. And that's not what's really important about this article, because sure, cool, they approved some service providers, and for those who are curious who those are, they do list them down here. That would be 3 of them at least is BitCub Online Co Limited Ltd, also known as just BitCub, BX, which is Bitcoin Co. Ltd, and Satang Corporation, also known as Satang Pro. And these were approved back in January, but they hadn't announced them back then. Now, what's interesting more so than anything, not so much that, but when you come down here to this section titled Follow-up Crypto Regulation. So the Thai government's Fiscal Policy Office has published the SEC's follow-up regulation entitled Rules, Conditions, and Procedures for Digital Asset Businesses, and it will go into effect January 1st of 2020. Everything is lining up for the start of 2020, right? We see G20 setting all their rules. Everybody has to be compliant by June 2020, and seems India, despite their initial balking, I guess we'll say, their disagreements with whatever had come out of G20, assumedly, based upon the news that we were getting. Apparently, based upon that, that's no longer in effect. They are now going to be compliant with what the G20 had agreed to. At least that's what this is saying to me, that they're pushing legislation through to be enacted at least several months before the following G20, 2020 G20. So, among the rules set forth in this document is the capital requirements for digital asset businesses. For example, operators holding customer assets must generally maintain daily liquid capital of at least 15 million baht, which is about $500,000, and at least 5% of the customer's asset value. The percentage requirement is lower if some of the assets are kept in cold storage. Digital asset exchanges that do not hold customer assets must maintain capital of at least 5 million baht, which is, since 15 million is $500,000, 5 million, that's probably like, $150,000. So the Thailand enacted 2 royal decrees to regulate crypto assets back in May. The royal decree on the digital asset business, BE 2561, and the royal decree on the amendment of the revenue code. The latter imposes levies on incomes derived from cryptocurrencies and digital tokens. Prior to any token offering, the issuer must obtain approval from the SEC and the registration statement and draft prospectus. So the registration statement and the draft prospect shall be filled with the SEC office, the government explained. So, exciting stuff. We have legislation coming down the pipeline for Thailand in the very near future that will hopefully be the regulatory clarity that many have been demanding in this space. Right? We've been hearing many people for months, if not years now, saying that this space is unregulated, it needs regulation. So, good stuff there. Now, what I found super interesting about this is that we have been working. I keep saying we, but Ripple, XRP, the XRP ecosystem has been operating within Thailand for at least since 2017, I think, and we've seen just a massive growth of RippleNet, at least in Thailand, but we haven't seen any dedication to utilizing XRP as a liquidity solution yet. And so hopefully this new legislation that we are going to be seeing, again, come the turn of the year, should hopefully enable many businesses, many groups, such as those working on the XRPL and even Bitcoin, if approved, to to be legal tender in Thailand, right? So the last part I'm going to read off here is that a representative of BitPoint Japan told news.bitcoin.com that at the time that BitHerb will only be or will begin to operate after the SEC inspects the company, which will occur within 180 days after the license acquisition, which they will receive on July 30th. So even though these bills are not going into play as of right now, it appears that these companies are at least going to be able to come forward with business models that are compliant with that regulation. And so even though the regulation won't be in place until the start of the year, these organizations can begin ensuring that they are compliant so that they can flip their switch, whatever company we're talking about, whether we're talking about BitPoint or maybe Ripple, when January 1st comes around and everything's been hashed out, right? Now, that's just speculation and not investment advice, as none of this was. I am just your friendly neighborhood Martian, not an investment advisor. If you enjoyed my video and you're new, please be sure to hit that subscribe and also ring that bell so that you can stay up to date with all the newest crypto-related content that I release. Primarily, my channel is dedicated almost purely to XRP, but I do like to cover other cryptocurrencies when that news involves the entire ecosystem as a whole. And I do like to cover Bitcoin news and a few other cryptocurrencies, which I do hold. Every once in a while, I like to just throw a little thing out there just so people know that these things exist. But with all that said, if you enjoyed my video, please be sure to hit that like on your way out, and I can't wait to see all of you in my next video on Mars.